Hola guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Roxanne. If it's your first time here, then welcome. Today I want to talk to you guys about the next 5 books that I have read recently. I apologize if you hear some background noise. My neighbors have decided to have a party, but I need to get something filmed, so hopefully it won't be too annoying or too loud. The first book that I want to talk about is This Will Be My Undoing by Morgan Jenkins. This is a collection of essays in which she talks about different things such as Beyonce, Michelle Obama, what being a sort of docile, socially palatable black woman is like, and there was a lot of aspects of this that I enjoyed, but overall it wasn't as sort of impactful as I was hoping that it was going to be. I think she still talks a lot about different topics that are important. I just feel like I've been more touched by other essays that deal with similar topics, so there's that to think about. But I still think it's something that maybe you should consider listening to on audiobook if you've seen it around and are interested. The next book that I want to talk about was one that I was much more sort of deeply involved with, and I was thinking about for a long time after I finished it, and that is Kindred by Octavia Butler. This is my first Octavia Butler, and it is about this woman named Dana who lives in the 70s, 1976 I believe, and all of a sudden, for no known reason, she starts to go back to back in time, pre-Civil War South, and every time she goes back there is this white boy and then man whose life she has to save. She realizes that this is an ancestor of hers and that she essentially has to continue saving him so that her line can continue and she can exist in 1976. It is deeply moving and touching. It is gripping. It is a very difficult story. It deals with this sort of metaphoric showcase of the relationship between Black Americans and white Americans, and I was thinking about it for so many days after I finished it. I couldn't put it down. I immediately gravitated towards Dana. I loved and hated some of these characters, and if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. It is a very powerful read, and I can't believe it took me this long to get to it and to read Octavia Butler. I adored it, and it was a very difficult but very worthwhile read, and I will be picking up everything that I can sort of pick up by Octavia Butler. I read Wild Beauty by Anne-Marie McLemore. This is a YA magical realism story about the No Me Olvides family, which is a family of all females, and they are cursed in that every man they love disappears. And there is a lot of floral and nature writing because they have the ability to make gardens bloom, beautiful flowers and blooms, and it is something that they cannot hold back, and so they've always been considered to be the witches of the community until they come across this estate who will take them in and will essentially allow them to live there and take care of their gardens. And so it's about this Latinx female family, and it's about their love, and it has great Latinx and bisexual representation. I will say though that the nature and sort of floral imagery does get repetitive, and it sort of loses its power the more you read it, because it does become a little repetitive. I enjoyed many different individual aspects of the story, but overall I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, because certain parts of it sort of got repetitive and stopped being as powerful to me personally as I wanted them to be. But I have friends that absolutely adore this book, so give it a try. Maybe listen to it on audiobook or take it out of the library if you're on the fence, and see where you lie on it. I will keep this because it's great Latinx and bi rep, but I didn't fall in love with it as much as I wanted to. a Latinx book that I read this past couple of weeks that I really did fall absolutely in love with was Rita Moreno, A Memoir by Rita Moreno. I found this book to be very honest and raw and everything that I really wanted to know about Rita Moreno. She is an absolute queen of mine. She is an actress and singer, and she's won an EGOT, and I think she's the first Latinx woman to have done so. Maybe the only one so far to have done so, which is really sad to think about. But yeah, it talks about her life. It talks about her passions, her motivations, her loves, her losses. I would say warning for depression, suicide, those two for sure. She does get very raw with you, and she delves very deeply into who she has been and who she is, the ideas that she has about society and womanhood. And I loved it so much. I loved hearing her. I listened to the audiobook of it, and it was narrated by her, and I definitely recommend listening to it in an audiobook because there's just something very special about hearing an author tell you their own story. And I love it. And Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month is coming up. I think it starts September 15th if I'm not mistaken. So if you are looking for something to read, I definitely recommend it. I loved it so much. I felt like I just know, like I was listening to a friend. I was listening to someone that I admire. It was so great and lovely to read. Definitely recommend it. And then the last book that I want to talk to you guys about is The Essence of Malice by Ashley Weaver, and this is the number 4 in the Amory Ames mystery series. And I really won't talk to you guys very much about this one because it is the 4th in the book. I'll just say that, like the other 3, I enjoyed it. I love Amory and I love Milo, her husband. I love the shenanigans that they get into. This one takes place in Paris. The caretaker of Milo asks for their help, and so this one was a little bit more out there than the other ones. I definitely didn't see any of it coming, so there was that, but it was still very fun and very light and very entertaining, like all of the Amory Ames books have been. If you're looking for an introduction into cozy murder mysteries, that is one I definitely recommend. Thank you, Olive, from a book Olive, for recommending it. I love this series. I think the next one comes out in September, and I definitely hope that it is immediately available on Overdrive because I want to read it immediately. Those are the last 5 books that I have read recently. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought. As always, thank you for watching and for listening. I love you guys very much.